In this video, we're going to go over how to generate our inventory analysis report. This report is designed to do mostly monthly style inventory analysis to see what you've shipped, what you've received, and it also compares it with some of your sales data. So you'll want to go to the inventory module. From there, if you click on reporting, there will be this menu option called inventory analysis report. Go ahead and select that. It's going to pop up a box and it's going to ask you what dates you would like to pull the report for. So in this example, I'm going to go from April 1st through the end of April. Now these dates are inclusive, so it'll be everything from the beginning of that date till the end of this date. And I'm going to go ahead and create my Excel export. And now it'll automatically download. I'm going to open this file up. And I'll go ahead and enable editing so we can change some things around here a little bit. So by default, everything is broken out hierarchical based on your product categories. So you can see our initial setup is everything is underneath all, and then we have consumables, and then we have sellables, services, and another sub-level of services that are sellable. We kind of have a little of a unique hierarchy here. But the big thing I want to highlight is anything that is in essence in a hierarchy. These lines are subtotal or total lines for everything below it. So if I looked at this line here for all sellable, these values are going to include everything that's directly in this category as well as anything below within that category. So this is a sum of all of these categories plus anything that might be in the root category. So that's why if you look at this, obviously this does not total up to this value. It's because there's products that are in this root category. And so don't let that throw you off. So these are hierarchical, but the top higher level, if you have products, because you can have products in a top parent category. So if you have products that are in that category, then the total is going to include everything below it plus anything in that category. So just watch that and be aware of that. If you go, I like setting it up so that all of my categories have a common parent so that I can come in here and see, okay, show me just everything. And in this example, obviously this is a test environment, so the data is all over the place. But I wanted to go through a couple of these rows and just kind of highlight and make sure you understand kind of what each of these rows mean. We will do some updating to this report. These are technically, we'll see if we can set these automatic, but these are all financial numbers. So you'll see the first column is your untaxed total sales. It'll list out any of the discounts. Now these are the only two sales columns that we pull. Everything else in here is going to be based on inventory. So this is inventory that's been received at cost. This is inventory that's been received at list price. These are your outgoing at cost and MSRP. So your outgoing would be all shipments to customers. And these are net, so these would be shipments and returns. And then your outgoing valuation in terms of cost or MSRP. We have a couple extra columns in here. And sometimes these will always be blank. And so you can delete them, especially if you don't use the manufacturing module. You won't need these. You won't really have anything in these columns, but this just highlights any value that has been generated through the manufacturing system. So if you used $5 worth of components, but you had some labor added to that and put it back into inventory for $15, there is a difference between the total cost of goods that you've in essence taken out of inventory and the final value that you add back to the inventory. So there ends up being a slight discrepancy or value add, I should say. This final column over here is your inventory adjustment column. This is anytime that you manipulate or change inventory manually in the system. So if you would go to a product and just say, hey, update quantity, and the system said, hey, you have 10 of these, but you go count and you only have, say, 7 of them, and so you take 3 of them out of inventory, that creates an inventory adjustment, and we've separated those out into their own columns so that they can be tracked independent of your outgoing costs, because they're really a special type of inventory, kind of inventory move. So these final 2 rows are just subtotals. So this is the subtotal of all of the incomings, outgoings, manufacturings, and inventory adjustments. And just to kind of give you a total net change from that month. So in this case, my total net change was 14,000. And the final 2 rows are the total inventory evaluation as of the end of this day. So at the end of April 30th, in this case, obviously as it's a test environment, but we have a negative $800,000 worth of inventory. So obviously, hopefully that's not your case, but that is what these last 2 columns are. And you'll see here again that the inventory valuation is MSRP. And in this case, it says we have, $50 million worth of list price of this product, but its actual cost is only $700,000. So we have super high value, or a high margin type of product here. But these last 2 rows are kind of your ending inventory at the end of that period. And everything else is to help you see changes that you've had throughout that period. And that's it.